International Law Institution presented by María Fernanda Gualdrón Rodríguez, Angie Juliana Martínez Vergara, María Isabela Morales Aranda, and Carlos Alexander Vargas Ramos, belonging to the fifth semester for the International Contracted Academic Space by Professor Ana Saavedra Ochoa of the Santo Tomás University.
Created in 1926 as a subsidiary body of the League of Nations, the institute was established in 1940 on the basis of multilateral agreement. The only draft statute is an independent intergovernmental organization based in Rome, Italy. Its objective is to study the needs and methods to modernize, harmonize, and coordinate private international law and commercial law, in particular among states, as well as to formulate the instruments of uniform law principles and norms to achieve set objectives. When the bourgeois class began to take the great importance within the political social structure of that time, the concept of lex mercatoria was born, which is an ordinance that regulates informally commercial relationships and activities according to the uses and customs of those who exercise them. Its member countries are 63, which Colombia has belonged to since November 5th of 1945. The principles are the attempt to enunciate rules that are common to most existing legal systems and adopt solutions that are the best suited on the needs of international traffic. They can be applied when the parts have agreed and their contract is governed by the lex mercatoria, and provide solutions to a controversial point when it's not possible to determine which rule or law is applicable. They can be used to complement international instruments of uniform law. They can be served as a model of legislation at the national and international level. Establish general rules applicable to international commercial contracts. The parties are governed by them and by the lex mercatoria. They provide solutions when it's not possible to determine what rule of law applicable of that contract. It's used to complement international instruments of uniform law.
Its creation was in 1919, and the Bogota Chamber of Commerce is the one that represents Colombia in the ICC, which has been united since 1965. The ICC was created in the aftermath of the First World War, when a global system and rule exists to regulate trade and business relationships. Without waiting for government to fill the void, the creators of ICC act with the conviction that the private sector is better qualified to set global business standards. Objectives: the ICC aims to promote international trade and investment as vehicles for inclusive growth and prosperity, promote inclusive and sustainable growth for the benefit of all, promote international trade, responsible business conduct, and a global approach to regulation combining our global influence. From resolving disputes when they arise in international trade to supporting global efforts to strengthen customs and border procedures, we support multilateralism as the best way to address global challenges and achieve global goals. Specialized institution and instrument. Conflict Resolution Service. It is the branch of this institution that is responsible for resolving commercial disputes. Within we find the International Court of Arbitration and other services. World Chamber Federation (WCF) is ICC's unique and truly global forum that unites the global network of 12,000 chambers and their respective business communities. And offer online learning service. ICC offers a wide range of specialized e-learning courses and online certifications for business professionals around the world.
The Organization of American States is the oldest regional body in the world, dating back to the first International Conference of American States, held in Washington, D.C. from October 1889 to April 1890. The OEA was created in 1948 when the OEA Charter, which entered into force in December 1951, was signed in Bogotá, Colombia. The OEA brings together the 35 independent states of America in April 1849 in Bogotá, Colombia, that acts and obtained participation in the Novena Conference. The OEA has diplomatic and representative functions since it is a forum for political cooperation. However, this is empowered to exercise uncertain living or corruption in case that weren't it. Adjusting political dialogue, solving problems of various schemes between member states, cooperation, providing support in various areas to member countries, reinforcing their institutional framework. Monitoring mechanisms, it made various measuring mechanisms among member states legal hearings. They seem multilateral theories allow common legislation.
It is a subsidiary body of the United Nations General Assembly created in 1966 and is the central legal body of the United Nations system in the field of international trade law. The General Assembly charges UNCITRAL with the task of promoting the progressive harmonization and unification of international trade law. Currently, the Commission is made up of 60 member states elected by the General Assembly. Colombia has been part of the UNCITRAL in 4 periods. The most recent is from 2016 to 2022. Functions. First, we have conventions. It is conceived to unify the law by establishing binding legal obligation with the objective of achieve a high degree of harmonization of the law of the participating states. For example, the United Nations Convention of Contracts for the International Sales of Goods. Second, we have a model law. A model law is a legislative text that the states recommend for adoption and incorporation into their domestic law. These are applicable when there is a need for uniformity. For example, the UNCITRAL model law on public procurements of goods, works, and services. Finally, we have logistic guides and recommendation. It is a text that provides a set of possible logistic solutions for certain issues, but not necessarily a single set of model solutions for such issues. For example, the Institutional Logistic Guide on Insolvency Law. Additionally, it also has other instruments that are not so formalized but related to the substantive law, applicable to commercial operation or other aspects of commercial law that affect international trade. For example, non-legislative texts include the UNCITRAL arbitration rules and the UNCITRAL conciliation rules.
The Hague Conference on Private International Law is a permanent global intergovernmental organization. It works towards the progressive unification of the rules of private international law of the member states. With 85 members from all continents through embassy, Colombia participates as an observed state in the conference, and in particular in the work related on the conventions created with this organization and that Colombia has ratified. The organization is financed by its member states, offset each year by the Council diplomatic representatives. It also seeks and receives financial resources from the other sources for specific projects. The internal functioning of the conference, instituted by the Royal Decree on February 1897, examines the proportion to the government's international organization, freely determines the course of they should follow, and after consulting the members, prepares a preliminary report to present the problem to the national bodies of member states. One of the proportion of the national bodies have been received, a preliminary of draft convening is prepared, which is commented on by reporters of that purpose. Preliminary draft with the new observation of the government starting point of the discussion in the plenary section. The project is formed and included in the final minutes of each section and its opening signature by the state. The suppression of the legalization recruitment, services of documents, obtain the evidence of birth, international child adoption and adoption, complete the law on the form of testimony provisions, maintains obligations and recognition of divorce.
WTO was created on January 1, 1995, being the only global international organization that deals with the rules of trade between nations. In its headquarters are the agreements that we negotiated, and is seen by almost all the trading nations of the world, and these in turn are ratified. WTO defends that a series of simple fundamental principles form the basis of the multilateral trading system. In decision making, the highest body is the General Council. WTO has 164 members, and Colombia has been a member since April 30, 1995. Objectives: raise living standards, achieve full employment, achieve a considerable and constantly increased volume of real income and effective demand, increase the production and trade of goods and services, while allowing the optimal use of world resources in accordance with the objectives of sustainable development. Functions: administering WTO trade agreement, forum for trade negotiations, handling trade disputes, monitoring trade policies, technical assistance and training for developing economies, cooperation with other international organizations.
It was created in 1919 as part of the Treaty of Versailles that ended World War I to reflect the belief that universal peace and lasting can only be achieved if it is based on social justice. All countries participate, but Colombia has been a member of the ILO since 1919. The country has ratified 61 conventions, 52 currently in force, among which are the 9 Fundamental Conventions. It is a specialized objective of the UN has objectives are the creation of job opportunity, the promotion of social justice, and the recognition of fundamental labor standards, the improvement of working conditions in the world. Among these main functions, the development of technical cooperation programs, labor migration, analyze the social dimension of globalization, promote respect for basic labor principles, the eradication of child labor, supervision of labor regulation, and compliance with the convention. The work of the ILO result is design work agents in order to promote social and labor rights, employment, social protection, and social delight at the international level.